One of the things that's going to give you the most control over the club face is the grip. The club face control is always going to be affected by how we're holding it, right? Golfers fit into one of two swing types, a steep or a shallow. What is the difference? The main thing we're looking at as far as mechanics go is as we make our backswing, okay, forget about that for a minute. What we're looking at is halfway down. So what you're going to do is record yourself from this view, and I want you to pause the swing as you come down into the halfway position for your lead arm parallel. I want you to notice where the shaft of the club is, okay? This is your natural tendency. If I am above the plane, so a little bit steeper of my shoulder here, you can see that if I was to draw a line all the way from the bottom, all the way through me, for me, being a steeper swing plane, I'm going to be a bit over that, on top of it, if you will. It's not necessarily an over the top swing. It's just going to be over that line. Likewise, if I was a shallow plane swing, which is a bit harder for me to do, but if I swing to the top and swing down, okay, my arm is going to be I'm parallel here, but the shaft is under that plane that I've had the club at. If I was to draw a line all the way through, I'm a little bit more under this way. I'm underneath. It's not so much what angle I am here. It's more like where the general orientation is. So if I'm under that plane, as you can see in this picture, I'm a shallow golfer. The thing is, with a shallower golf swing, you might find that if your grip is just a little bit too weak, because you're already trying to sort of bring the club around and left this way, if your grip is too weak, you're not going to be able to release the club properly. So it'll end up kind of looking something like this sweeping action and flipping around it here, just a little bit too much, all right? You're going to almost have that kind of sensation because your grip is a little bit too weak and you're a little bit too on top of it. Because our path is going to be like this. I'm exaggerating, but I want you to experiment with this. You can maybe hit a few shots at first having a weaker grip. So take your normal grip, but I want you to roll your forearm around here, like the lower arm, so you have less knuckles and your thumb is pointing more straight down. And your right hand is a little bit more on top. With your setup here and with that pivot, I want you to make some swings and try and make that delivery. And you'll notice that that club face is way, way open because I just cannot square it enough. I have to then, to square it, to stop it being open, I have to sort of flip my wrists around just to square it here. But here's where a little bit of magic happens. If I take my club and actually have a strong grip, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to turn my arm all the way over so my palm is facing my thigh this way, and I'm just going to bring it onto the club this way. So I've got a much stronger grip. I'm exaggerating a bit here, but I can see like 3 knuckles. This V is coming to my right shoulder. Okay, so I'm a lot more sort of over on top of the grip this way. And with my right hand, it's more underneath. So I'm bringing the club underneath this way, and my trail hand is under, my elbow's a little bit more tucked. I'm exaggerating somewhat. But if I, from here, make the same sort of pivot that we've been doing and bring it back down, I can deliver that club squarely. I haven't done anything different. My grip on the club is what changed the action on that club face to be able to deliver it squarer. Long story short, I want you to test, as you take your setup, I want you to test having a stronger lead hand grip and the right hand grip being just a little bit more under, okay? A little bit more under that way, so then you can release the club with a bit more authority that way a little bit more. So play around with it. Work on the chip shots first, work on the pitch shots, then irons. But having a stronger grip is going to help you release and turn that club over a little bit from your shallower path. There's going to be more there. It's going to be a little bit easier and you'll get more penetration with every shot you hit. if you're a steep swing plane, you will generally struggle by having a stronger lead grip. If your lead grip is stronger, where you see a few more knuckles, and you think, well, that's going to help me close the club face. What happens with a steeper swing plane, not only with the pivot going back, but actually making our way back down to the ball, with a stronger grip, it can actually cause that club face to be way too open, right? So we sort of end up dragging the handle a little bit too much, and that club face stays way open. So an experiment, if you will, and start with chipping, pitching, irons, before you get to driver. I want you to feel that actually as you take your setup, we can do the split stance again to help calibrate, but I want you to do this little routine. I want you to turn your whole arm, so I'm doing a bicep curl this way, I'm turning my whole arm over here, right? And I can't grip the club in that manner. To turn that hand over, I'm not just doing it with the wrist, okay? I'm actually turning it over from up here. I'm moving my arm internally. I'm internally rotating my upper arm. And if you see from this direction, I'm here and I'm internally rotating that upper arm. What that's going to do is create a little bit of a weaker grip, but here, this is a much more positive impact position for a steep swing plane. Because what it means is, I don't have to, as I swing back, I don't have to manipulate that club face anymore because it's at the end range of motion. And my hands can't move anymore in the lower point of my hand. It's at the lowest it can be. It's at the most range of motion. So I can't shut that face anymore. So I have this strong position, this feeling that now I can swing back. I can almost open up the arm, allow that forearm rotation, and I can deliver the club back down to hit that square. It's just a natural movement. I'm not having to over manipulate anything, and that's the beauty of it. When we get set up right, when we get our grip right, it's more just about executing and pulling the trigger. We don't have to manipulate during the swing, trying to open up the face or shut the face or anything like that. We just go. So there's the left hand, or the lead hand rather, a little bit weaker, and you can also benefit from having the trail hand a little bit more on top. Again, that's going to help club face control, and basically keep that compression through. If we're a little bit too underneath, it can cause a bit of a flipping action this way. Again, keeping that club face open. And if our path is coming on from the inside, that's going to cause us to really miss them way out right, or flip it over, which will go left. And it's all about controlling these hands. So I take my setup and I keep my grip a little bit more on top with that trail hand. I'm not doing this with the shoulder. It's literally, so I take my setup here, I'm literally just bringing it in, but feeling like my hand is a little bit more on top. And then from there, I can execute the perfect setup and impact position. And that's going to work for the chip, the pitch, iron, and the driver.